Okay, so welcome, masters. This is our next session in the series of quantum physics to understand how meditation works, how actually our body function, so that if we understand how, then to follow, to develop belief, trust becomes easier. So today we will be talking about epigenetics. We will recap quickly what we have gone through, and then we will see how it connects to epigenetics and what is epigenetics, what it means for us, all those details. So we started looking into personality because personality creates our personal reality. And this is the first thing. If we understand how it functions, how actually it happens, then it's no more a magic. Then it becomes easier to accept that, yes, meditation really turns your life around. So it's not a question of someone has more power than the other. Every meditator has this possibility. And to make this possibility an event in your life, and you can say the actual conversion into some changes in your life, we go through these steps. So it all depends on your thoughts, your thinking, because that will impact your action, your behavior, which will impact your experience or feelings, emotion, which gives you the experience. And based on that, you change who you are. So your personality is creating a new you, whatever you want to be. And it could be that today you may be, just a crying baby or complaining, whiner, whatever kind of personality you may have. But as you work on yourself, as you change, you will find that now you are no longer the old. Now you are a new you. You have more patience, you have more understanding. Your whole frequency of your body has changed. Because emotions are the record of the past. Different emotions are stuck in our body at different organs, depending on the type of thoughts, type of emotions you had gone through in the past. Unless we release them, they get stuck. The longer they get stuck, probability again increases that they will cause harm to you. So just like we take shower every morning or every day, we have to cleanse our thoughts as well. Because whatever has happened in the past has happened. However, because the emotion is with you, it is still impacting you every day. So this is why we have to understand how can we change. And change is not easy, we all know. But why the change is not easy? There are two ways, hard and the easy. So that's what meditation teaches you, the easy way. Suppose you want to cross the river and it's a peak rainy season. And the way the river is, you know very well, if you try to swim across, there is a risk of your life. So the good news here is you don't have to really risk your life. Just find a bridge which takes you from one side to the other side of the river. And this bridge in real terms will be different in different situations for different people. But the point is find that easy way. You don't risk your life. You have to change from the old you to the new you. And three main parameters always comes into play: your body, your environment, and time. Your body will pull you back. Environment will be the easiest one to blame. Your boss, your colleague, and the temperature, weather outside, rain, or the traffic, all those environmental factors we try to blame for our issues in life. Time, something has happened 20 years ago, we still remember as if it has happened yesterday. What does it mean? It only means one thing. What it means is you have not forgiven. That means every day it is pinching you emotionally. So, what it means? What it means is we have to understand what metacognition means. Why it is so important is because meta is above. What is cognition? The act of observing the state of mind and body. The first step of change, we are talking about change. It is metacognition. So it's not a question of, your this thoughtlessness or zero thoughts and all those things. First, you have to understand who you are. You have to know yourself, your thought process. Once you know, okay, this is how I think, this is how I act, this is how I process things. So it's thinking about thinking, your thinking, of course. Knowing about knowing means you know yourself now better. So you're aware of your own awareness. How do you develop these skills? There is different ways. Of course, meditation brings you in this. Positive self-talk, mental scripting, self-questioning, self-monitoring. There's a range of things that one can do so that you are aware. Otherwise, we stay in denial mode. No, I don't do this, or this is not how I behave. We are in denial mode. And till the time you stay in denial mode, you're not developing, you're not healing, you're not changing. So that's why this metacognition is so important. Whole day we can tell about others, we can complain, we can kind of, even the best athlete in the world, we can comment about. Oh, this person should have done this or that, or should have played like this, like that. Sitting here talking about anyone is the easiest thing. Do we even understand ourselves? That is the question. So why we are most of the time in survival mode? Because first, stress. Why stress? If we cannot control the future outcome, we get stress easily. Whether it's an exam, whether it's my promotion, whether it is my important meeting coming up, I don't know the future. Immediately, possibility is that I'll be stressed because I cannot predict my future. So what happens is when you cannot predict, I'm stressed. I have no control. I cannot predict. Now I'm thinking of all what can go wrong. Only perception, not reality. But this perception is killing me. Why? Because I'm overthinking, overanalyzing. So typically three major stress: physical, chemical, or emotional. Physical, trauma, accident. Chemical could be flu, blood sugar, all those kind of things, toxins within the food environment. And emotional is all kind of, things we go through at home, at work, with neighbors and whatnot. This impacts our parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic means the relaxation mode. Sympathetic means the action mode. The moment you wake up in the morning, body says, time to act. Sun is up. As sun is going down, body is trying to relax, trying to sleep, say, okay, this is a relaxation time. Parasympathetic mode kicks in the body. Now, creation. If your thoughts are making you sick, if your thoughts are creating all the issues in your life, then thoughts can heal also. And this was proven through different mechanisms, different experiments, different ways. And one was the workshop about 117 people, and they measured the level of immunoglobulin A, which is again related to the immune system. Higher means better immune system. And that improved, as you can see, more than 50% just by doing meditation, 3.5 days, 10 minutes only. So we are not talking about years and years of meditation, just 3.5 days, 10 minutes minimum each day. And the result was 50% plus of IgA. Not only that, the cortisol, which is the reflection of your stress in the body or in your system, went down. Roughly just over 16%. It dropped, which makes sense. Your immune system going up, cortisol means stress coming down. So now we get into epigenetics, which is today's topic. What is epigenetics? So epigenetic is the study of how the expression of your DNA can be changed without changing the structure of DNA. This term it came into existence in 1942, long time ago. But it was Bruce Lipton, his work in late 80s, 1980 to 1990 era, that when he was working in his lab and he figured out that it is the environment which is making the difference. A cell will behave differently depending on which environment it is kept. And then it was a matter of time that from, you can say, the late, 1900s and then 2000 onwards, early 2003, and that one, this topic was so popular, the research on this topic exploded. Though the term was coined 1942, the real work started in year 2003 onwards. Why? Because 10 years before, all the work, great effort by Bruce Lipton, though he was a scientist, he's PhD, but he believed in what he experimented, what he saw, that he takes the cell, but it's not a question of it is a hair cell, it will generate hair, or if this is X or Y. It depends which environment it is kept. So this was a wild kind of thought, discovery at that time, because scientific community, they couldn't, believe that it is the environment which is making the difference, not the gene, because till then everybody was blaming the gene. So epigenetics means which is above the genes. That means something which is more powerful. That means it is not the gene. And hence, when you talk about environment, so environment is making the difference, means environment is impacting the end result of whatever the genes you have. So genes don't create disease. Till then, it was very commonly, even today, if you see, really, most of the people think, and in the common term, they will be talking about, oh, it's in my genes. My grandfather had, my father had, I'll also have this issue. Because we think it is genetic, everything is genetic. The environment is giving the signal. If that signal changes, for that, you have to change the environment. So you see the elevated emotions signals genes to produce right protein. And when we say right, means without any damage. That means whatever is supposed to be exactly that protein, you will be healthy because it is related to elevated emotions. But when you are always in the negative or low level emotion, things could be different. So what happens is we upgrade our genes for health if we stay in the positive, elevated emotions. You are in health, that means you are avoiding all kinds of health issues, means illness or sickness, diseases. So you are always healthy, you are keeping the problem away from you, and that is in your hand. Again, it comes to your thoughts. You are having elevated emotions or low level emotions, like, all the kind of low level greed, fear, all kinds of things which you have, jealousy, anger. These are low level emotions. If you get stuck in this, you will have different results coming from your same genes. Whereas if you are in elevated emotions, oneness, true love, all those things, same genes will produce totally different result. So when you are angry, when you are upset, when you are thinking, oh, my life is miserable, be careful, because you are developing an environment for your cells, your genes, which is totally different compared to when you're positive. And this is what scientific community has seen through different experiments, which we will see today, that how your thoughts are impacting your end result. End result means your personal reality, all through what we have just talked about. So when you're focused, when you're sensing the space, when you do meditation, your brain gets highly organized. And then the coherence takes place. And then your mind, your brain, your cells, your energy, everything is coherent. And that's when your frequency, the wavelength starts changing. From beta, you go to alpha, you can go to theta, you can go to gamma even. So coming back on epigenetics, birth of epigenetics, we talked about the research done by Dr. Bruce Lipton, but also Dr. Randy's work was really, you can say, instrumental in this. This image that you are seeing right now, this is the most used image in the research world. What you see here, there are two mice, and what the experiment was using agouti mice. Agouti mice is kind of a mice having agouti genes. That's why it's called agouti mice. And what basically is done then, because of these genes, they are obese. They are different in color, yellow color, and the fur, they have a very short life. Their lifespan is very short. So in this experiment, Dr. Randy and the team, what they did was, in a particular stage of pregnancy, they gave methyl through kale, green stuff, like kale is a green vegetable, right? So through that, they injected methyl. And by eating just the green, the mother who had agouti genes was expected to produce an offspring which will also have agouti genes, because it's genetics. But just by injecting methyl at the particular stage of pregnancy through kale, green vegetable, the child was normal, brown and not yellow in color, normal health, not obese, and had a normal life, not like a short lifespan. So this was shocking to the scientific community, that how come? What happened? If it was genetics, then how come a mice having agouti genes did not produce an offspring? Because before, every time that's what happened. What changed? The change was the environment. Environment, because the mother in this experiment was fed kale at a particular stage of pregnancy. So DNA is not your destiny. Stop fearing that, oh my God, it's in my DNA, it will happen to me. No. What you eat impacts you, your thoughts impacts you, your lifestyle impacts you. If you are messing in any one of these, you will have a direct impact on the expressions of the genes you have. So don't stress out, don't blame, it's just my genes means I have to have this problem. No, it is the environment. That's what epigenetics is. Above genes is the environment. Let's see a little more how this DNA thing works, what is DNA, what it does, and all those. So human DNA is roughly 5 feet long. Imagine this 5 feet of DNA is nature has fitted it in nucleus, which is not even 10 micron, and not even one set of DNA, because your genes is in the chromosome. And you have not just one chromosome, but 23 pairs in this nucleus. So total 46. One coming from dad, one coming from mom. And so you have 23 pairs. This DNA is clearly packed, twisted, wrapped, and folded, so compact. See the beauty of the design of nature. 5 feet DNA fitted into 10 micron. 10 micron means it is much smaller than even 1 millimeter. So how can you pack something which is 5 feet in something which is not even 1 millimeter? So this is the beauty. This is how it works, that it is compact, is fit. And of course, there is other things also in the cell, not just this. So it is important to understand that what causes disease is essentially not just your DNA, but it is something else. Once we understand this, then not only you are creating new treatments, but you can prevent certain things. Because once we understand how nature is working, then we can change what we usually think that, oh, it is my genes, and this is how it is, and I'm locked for life. So how does this gene things work? So what does it do? What is DNA? So DNA is our blueprint, right? We all have, and once you have it, whatever you have it. The power of mind, how it can change gene expression is the key thing. Because what does DNA do? Uh, Ultimately, our body needs protein. Our body is a protein producing machine, different kind of proteins, because different cells in our body requires different kind of proteins. DNA is a library. It's like a recipe book, right? You pick a recipe book which has thousands and thousands variety of dishes. Whatever you want, you go to that section, pick that page, and then you can cook that particular recipe. Same as DNA. You have thousands and thousands of different recipes for producing different kind of proteins. But someone should be able to read it. One gene can produce about 3,000 variations of protein, one gene. So that's why it's a myth that genes create diseases. Fact is, research shows only 1%, actually it's less than 1%, but let's round it off. It's only 1% that yes, certain diseases are genetics, 99% are not. So people say about arthritis, diabetic condition, heart condition, and forget all that. You can impact, you can change, you can reverse. Genes can, like what they have is the instruction, how to produce protein, like a recipe book, right? The important thing here is we should have protein exactly what it is supposed to be. No deformity, no defects. If defects means straight away disease or some kind of issue, health condition. So what happens here is that there is a messenger RNA, which is called mRNA. Because you need protein, someone has to read the genes. And you don't have to read the entire DNA, only that particular sector, particular part that requires to be activated, that one will be read through mRNA, and then you will get that protein. It's like releasing that particular page. You have an entire book, mRNA will ensure that, okay, this particular page I photocopy it. I didn't touch the original. I only make a photocopy. And then I do what I do and I produce protein. This way, my original copy is intact. I'm not damaging my DNA. Sometimes you are working and accidentally, we damage stuff that we are working on. So this way, you create a photocopy, then work on photocopy, whatever you want, your original is safe. See the beauty of nature. So this is the first step. And then you get protein. Protein is everything in our body. So what happens? You have switches. You enter in a room, you can turn the light on, off, whatever. So you have switches. DNA is all kind of possibilities, different ones. So what you have to see is, okay, I need this thing on, this thing off. And if I make a change, and if I change the switch, then I will get something different. This on off, something is active, something is not, is impacting, is resulting in what the end result you get. So what happens? Certain cells will produce certain types of specific, like proteins will produce certain type of specific cells. For example, one protein may produce a cell for eyes. Certain protein will produce your, cell for your hair, your muscle, your bone, brain. So if you have to produce, say, your brain cells, then you have to go to that recipe page and say, okay, turn on this, turn off that. So there are many factors which impacts, start from your childhood, the development, environmental, chemicals, drugs, pharmaceuticals, aging, diet, different things impact. Now, how does it impact and what happens? Let me give you one example. There was an experiment done, again on mouse, because you know that in the lab they are the easy ones. So what they did was, there was a particular food and the smell was introduced to this mouse. At the same time, they gave mouse electric shock. So here comes the smell and here comes the electric shock. Same time. Obviously, the mouse had fear induced. Again, the smell was introduced, again the shock. When they repeated this, it was, a permanent memory in that mouse brain that this smell means trouble for me. Whenever I have this smell, I'm in trouble. Mouse doesn't know what electric current is, but for sure it knows that whenever I see, I feel, or I smell this, I'm having trouble, which is because of the shock. Scientists were surprised that they checked the next generation and they found that as soon as they introduced that smell to the offspring, to the babies of the parent who were given electric shock. So babies were not given electric shock. Only the smell was introduced and they were afraid of that smell. They were panicking. How come? Because the information traveled through genes. Then scientists waited, and when they got offspring from the offspring, so means now the third generation, they introduced the smell and they were also afraid. So you see the information travel from generation to generation. And then people say, oh, it is genetic. No, you have to just change the environment. Environment means if your thinking, your logic, your thought process changes, you can change a lot of things in your life. You are what you eat. Simple as that. A recent study demonstrated this mRNA, what we were just talking about, that through food intake, how it goes and express or impacts, the expression in animals after migration through plasma and all those things. So veg versus non-veg, we keep debating. And one of the things that different researchers are always kind of working on, that in particular workplace, we say environmental is toxic, environmental factors and all that, right? If environment is toxic, why only some people get certain diseases, not everyone? So what is the factor which differentiate whether you will truly have the impact or not, right? So when you have mutation, like if we were talking about you copy paste, but sometimes copy paste doesn't work properly. So you have a photocopy, you are working, you are creating proteins, but there is some error, some defect. That is called mutation. And when you have mutation, we have trouble, means some kind of health issues. So this is what happens once you have mutation. And then when that cell copies, means again, create a photocopy to create another one, you see the mutation will continue. So what will happen? So imagine that, you are stuck in a room with a broken thermostat and it's getting too hot. So cool down, you could fix the thermostat. That is one thing. Or you could just break a window. So genetic suppression essentially is breaking the window. Keep the cells healthy despite the mutated stage. And it opens a new way. It's opened a new way of treating genetic disorders. And that is why, We have billions of DNA letters that makes up the whole human genome. Out of 3 billion, there are only some 3 million differences between any two people. Only out of 3 billion, and billion means 1,000 million. We are talking about only 3 million, rest are all same. So you see, we can just, blame everything on the genes, but let's not blame genes, everything. More important is our thought, our lifestyle. So variety of plant-based food, it covers all the component. Balanced diet, balance all kind of things. When people say, no, 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 you need meat or that's a different industry. Is not the fact, but it's just to feed, on the commercial side, that's a different thing. Researchers have found the evidence that when you are having vegetarian food, you have much better, probability of not having mutations and all those kind of things. Vegetarians populations are more, you can say, efficient in processing omega-3 and then convert it into, and all those kind of, things that you have the functioning of the body. So impact of meditation on gene expression are validated through different experiments. So far, different experiments have been done. And in one particular case, 32 people were there, and they tested about 7,500 different gene expressions. And to test a person, and between your emotions and everything, and within 4 days, many genes expressions were activated or upregulated. Which kind? Your anti-aging, healing, autoimmune disease related, cell repair related, metabolic disorders related, tumor suppression, all those kind of genes which are actually doing all this were upregulated or improved just by meditation. So you see, different scientific experiments have already proven that yes, thousands of genes does not mean that total we have about 30,000. So it's not that only you can impact 7,000 or 5,000. These are proven and research is ongoing. So just to summarize, epigenetic means what? Something that is above genes. Genes don't create disease. It's the environment which makes or breaks, which signal the genes. The deformity, whatever is happening, is because of the wrong signal. How we react to our environment, that influence our emotion. This is the key, because that will decide what kind of signal we are finally giving. The genes will get upregulated or downregulated. So you are your own genetic engineer. You can reverse serious diseases by meditation alone. Science has proven that about 2,200 genes can be reversed. Total is about 23,000. So 10%. But again, these are what are proven. That doesn't mean we don't have more. And this is a couple of years old data. By now, there may be many more. So by meditation, we elongate our telomeres, which is part of DNA, which actually enhance our life. And these genes get upregulated. How do you know when it will happen? Don't worry, just do meditation. That's all you need to worry about. That's all you need to worry about. So masters, that was today's session. That was today's topic of epigenetics. If you have any question or any sharing that you want on this, yeah, please go ahead. So
Thank you, Gaurav. It's very informative, very informative. And most often, like, without going into all these details, we often blame on our genes. As you said, yeah, it is there in my genes. Yeah, my father had it, my grandfather had it. It is the usual talk that we go through. And also in India, when I went to India, about 24 years old son was blaming his mother for having obesity. Actually, his mother was not obese. When she crossed 50, she became obese. But this guy is only 24 years old and then blaming his mom. And then we pointed out, me and another meditator pointed out that it's the lifestyle habit, like, the food he eats. So he didn't agree, but this is like, whatever you presented today is an eye opener. And all of us, if we change the lifestyle, we can change our longevity, we can change our health and everything. So thank you so much, Gauraji, for this wonderful
Welcome.
presentation. Anyone has any questions, please quickly ask, because we are already 9:40, I think now. Yes. Please straight away ask any questions if you have any. And keep the questions straight and short.
Just want to add one example is that to one of my observation is that the cancer patients, if you observe any cancer patients, only the 2% or some very less percentage will survive. And I noticed it, most people, I mean, educated or rich people, right, who will be mostly, if you see any celebrities will survive, even they get a severe cancer in stage 4. The reason being that, in my observation, is that they'll go with the counselors. I mean, like positive reading, positive books, or having a counseling sessions, having the positive thought process and all. I believe that is the reason that 2% people, either they will be thinking who are strong mentally or who has gone through this positivity and all. Even I met a person here, my colleague, so local in Canada. So he told me that he used to read positive thought process thinking books that helped him to come out of the cancer. So that's one is a good example of the environment changing the disease.
Absolutely, Veer. Environment starts directly from your thoughts, and thoughts is in your hand. So really, there is no excuse.
Thank you, Gauraji. Are you going to lead us through meditation today also?
Yes, we will start.
Yes.
And today I'll be using the bigger singing bowl. So
Wow,
that is the
the inauguration.
inauguration. First time I was using the smaller one, but now. Uh, so
Very
yes,
good.
masters, let's get ready.
One quick note. Gauraji will start the meditation and sit as long as you can, more than 30 minutes, because don't think that you will be deprived of sleep by sitting little longer in meditation. Uh, we are supposed to be doing it at least how many minutes of our age? Those many minutes, at least twice a day, but at least once a day. So let's do it for 30 to 40 minutes. You can sit long. Okay. Gauraji, please.
Yeah. So masters, first we'll relax the body, then we'll relax the mind, and then we'll get into deep meditation. So you can take off your glasses or wristwatch in case you are wearing. Be comfortable and close your eyes. We'll scan our body. We'll go from head to toe. As we scan our body, we will ensure that that part is fully relaxed. Scan your face, your cheeks, relax the muscles, Move on to your neck, your shoulders, keep your spine straight but fully relaxed. As we move your attention from one part to the other, you may wiggle a little bit that particular part, which will ensure that there is no stress. Relax your hands, your legs, keep them in a cross posture, which will help you in making an electric loop. So by now your body is fully relaxed. Let's relax our mind. Let's do slow breathing, and those who knows Anulom Vilom, they may do that. We'll do 7 rounds. One complete cycle is 1 round, so inhale and exhale makes it 1 cycle. So slow inhale and exhale means exhale as slow as comfortable to you at your own pace. And after exhaling completely, start inhaling again as slow as comfortable to you. Now, after completing your cycle, start breathing normally. Let's get into deep meditation, masters. Start observing your breath. As you inhale, as you exhale, it's possible that during meditation you may get some thoughts. Don't fight, don't feel bad, just ignore them. As you keep observing your breath, you get closer and closer to your inner self. Your inner self will take you closer to your higher self.